PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Okay, Toyota's had a rush of product release, a rush of rumors of product release, the dealer meeting's gone on. It's time to get back to career building. First of all, let's look at numbers, and I apologize about the math over the next couple of weeks, but we're going to throw some math at you. So let's say the average salesperson closes at 20%. And I talk to salespeople all the time and say, Casey, I close at about 80%. Well, then you're not talking to enough customers. So if I let 8 out of 10 go away, let's say that the majority of those people that I have some kind of contact information on, I missed a car deal. I didn't sell them a Camry, I didn't sell them a 4Runner, I didn't sell them a truck, but it was a viable customer that bought something else. The dealership spends somewhere between $400 and $800 to create traffic in the dealership per customer that comes in. Just look at the massive amount of money that we spent from facility to TDA to general advertising in order to get a customer to come in the dealership. If I miss that customer and they go up the road and buy a Lexus or an Acura, or they go up the road and buy a F-250, that doesn't mean that customer's lost to me forever, and I've never really understood why salespeople throw that contact information away. You met the husband, you met the wife, you met one of their children, and you missed a car deal because of whatever. Nissan had some kind of ridiculous buy one, get one free offer, and they took the opportunity to buy the Nissan. I'm not blaming you. It's sometimes you don't sell the car and deliver the car. Customer liked the car, they found something else, they went to another Toyota dealership, they found exactly what they wanted, who knows? But that means that out of 1,000 customers, 800 people that possibly could have bought from you didn't buy from you. Where is that information going? Out of the 800, let's not be stupid that all 800 aren't going to come back to you. But out of the 800, if you're a 20% closer, that means 160 of those people should come back to you down the road and buy a car, even if you maintain your percentage of closing ability. So that right there puts you in a great situation for another year of delivery. That means that 3 or 4 years down the road, you don't have to work that year because you've already planted the seed with these clients. So I don't know if you're using a dealer software, you create your own software, but there is a group of customers that we miss, that we should have sold a car to, that we built a relationship to, that you have to look at and say, I'm going to go back and get them on their next purchase or their spouse purchase, or maybe I'll be involved in their child's first purchase. Follow those customers, and the customers that you realize you never built a relationship with and you never had a chance with, let that go, because you don't need to be spending that time because it is not fruitful. All right, so the next thing, when I sell somebody a car, so let's say I sell 20 cars a month, and if you've met me in the past, you know that that's kind of the border for me. The 30 working days in a month, deliver a car a day, take some days off, that's 20 car deals a month. So 20 times 12, 240. 240 times 5 years, 1,200 actual delivered cars. Of those cars, if you delivered a Toyota to somebody, how many of those customers should be upset with the product? Give you a couple of seconds. I got right? None. So everybody in there has dealt with you, they trusted you, they filled out the paperwork, the car is what you said it was. You should get all 1,200 of those customers back. You can't get them back the next year, but on an ongoing basis. Let's say, for example, that I work 20% of my client base a year for the next 5 years. Well, I've got to work that out. 1,200 at 20% is 240 divided by 12, 20. That means by year 5, at the end of year 5, you should be doing 20 cars a month without ever doing anything but picking the phone up and saying, when are you coming back? I mean, look at me and tell, well, Casey, people move out of town. Yeah, and people move into town. You haul in, you haul out. I mean, I don't know what you're saying, but you've got a client base that's probably in an equity situation because they bought the right brand. They didn't buy the wrong brand over at Chevrolet and they're $7 upside down. This is a viable deal. This is 20 cars a month just sitting there waiting for you. Think about the salespeople you work with that have been in the dealership for 10 years plus. I mean, if they would have just done some kind of simple follow-up of the people that they actually delivered a car to, they wouldn't have to work at all, and some of them don't. Yeah, Bobby does 40 cars a month. No, he doesn't. He did those 40 cars years ago, and they're just coming back and getting another car from him and giving him a car back so he can sell it again. That is exactly where every one of you want to be. But let's go ahead. There's some negative people out there. Let me address you right now. All the positive people, give me a second. Well, Casey, you'll never get them all back. Okay. All right. Let me fight that one off. No. But in America, people get married. People have partners. People have long-term, non-married relationships. That means there's 2 adults living in a household. 2. Okay, I sell the guy a car while I'm waiting on F&I, the 4 to 6 hour marathon wait for F&I. I'm talking to the other person in that party and saying, when are you getting a car? Are you going to get something that's nice? Are you used? Are you new? What kind of cars are you really thinking about in the future? And they said, well, I'm going to probably get a car in a couple of years. So that means a year and a half from now, you go to work right there. So I take the 20 cars, now make it 40. Anybody following that? Both spouses, both partners, both live-in people, whatever you call that. God, the terminology changes every year. But if you're cohabitating in a house multiple years, as far as I'm concerned, you're married. So that's 40. Okay, now most people that have hetero relationships and some relationships that are man-man, woman-woman, adopt a child because people want to have children, because people love children. So I've got 2.5 children per household in America. In some states, it's a lot more than that. But think about this. Every one of those kids is eventually going to be able to drive if they possess the skills to drive. So if I sell them the first car, and how much joy is it to sell somebody their first car? I mean, you sell an adult a car, they're yawning at you. No, it's just another car. But a kid's first car, you want to be involved in that because that'll give you some juice too. So I had the 2 kids into the 40 by selling the partners, spouses. That's 80 in 5 years. How are you going to deliver 80 cars a month? You're going to have to get some help. You're going to have to hire some administrative or secretarial help just to deliver cars. You're certainly not going to have to go chase somebody down the parking lot with bad credit. But it seems to me like it's so much easier as a manager or as a salesperson to watch people stand outside in a group of 7, 8 to 9 people talking about some ridiculous game that brings us no income at all, which should be talked about after hours. But I can't get anybody to spend a dedicated amount of the day to work on their own gold, pot of gold. The customers you've already sold, the customers you've already built a relationship with. Think about that. How much of your week are you going to spend just by maintaining your account? And by the time you get to the 5th year, it should be the majority of your week just maintaining your account. Take yourself to the next level. Make $50,000 this year. Make 60 the next year, 65, then 70. Then when you get into year 5, when you start doubling your production, there's your 100,000. And I'm not talking about going out there and beating the bushes and leaving your business card on bulletin boards around town and coming up with some kind of flimsy flyer. I mean, honestly, have you ever bought anything off a flyer before? Have you ever looked at a flyer and go, whoo, I better go get a car from this person right here. What a great flyer. So, I mean, we spend a lot of time trying to figure out ways to drive more customers to us when you really don't have to do that. Even if you're doing 15 cars a month. 15 is 180 for the year. 180 times 10 would be 1,800. That's 900 in a 5. So it's still massive. So we're going to break this down over the next couple of weeks. I hope you can deal with my math. The first thing I'm going to talk about is just a little bit of career building. All our emails, all of our phone calls, all of the contact we have back to the customer gives the customer partial or all of their request. How much is this? How much is this? What do I need to do this? What's my interest rate? All those questions I believe we answer. And I think in today's BDC and internet world, I think we do a great job answering those questions. But the problem is everybody else answers the same questions. So there's got to be some personal built back in it. I'm telling you right now, every time you contact somebody, it should be with a short video featuring the product they're interested in and you. Give them a reason to do business with you. And for some of you who have taken my classes here in the last year, I started talking about Safelite Auto Glass, and I just think that's crazy. So I got a broken windshield. They send me a picture of the technician that's going to come replace my windshield, so automatically that person becomes family. Their commercials, it's like, hey, I'm part of the basketball game. High five. So the guy shows up and goes, hey, Jim, Come on through the house. The car's in the back. You've just met an axe murderer in your house. You don't know if that guy's got a criminal background. But what happened was when they sent a photo and you saw who it was and they came in and you recognized them, everything's cool. So think about this. If I send a video or a photo of myself prior to anybody coming in the dealership, they're going to call, hey, KC, I've already got the car pulled out for you guys. Come on over here. We've already got a relationship started. So you've got technology in your hand right now that you're texting somebody on to be able to promote yourself. I think your business card should have your photo on there. I've wrestled with that for a couple of decades. KCR, we have company business cards. Go down to any print shop, get a headshot, just to do a headshot of you with your contact information. They'll put it on a reel and stick a sticker on the back of the card that has your face and your contact information on there when you hand the card. It's not, you're promoting the dealership, not yourself. It's got your name on there. It's usually the smallest thing on the card. I'm saying you're the reason. You're off-site. You've handed a business card out. If they come to the store, it's because of you. So promote yourself. We're going to go into this. We're going to talk about service. We're going to talk about lease retention. Man, we're paying outside companies right now to find out whether somebody has equity or not. That is ridiculous. Think about this. If I've leased a car to somebody for 36 months, I've got a pretty good idea of when they're going to try to trade out of their car. It's going to be right around 36 months. So if my portfolio is about 20 to 30% lease penetration, I should get every one of those customers back and get them back early and have a tremendous pre-owned car to sell because it's a very low mileage, well-maintained car. So it's not one car deal, it's two because you know the car's inbound. And I feel like I'm getting really preachy here, and I don't mean to do that, but man, you guys work so hard. There's nobody on earth that I've ever met that puts more hours and gets told no more than a car sales professional. I've dedicated my life to you guys. I don't want it to be so hard for you. It doesn't have to be hard. I used to work the service drive every single morning. Not because I thought it was great to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go work out and come right to the dealership and serve coffee to the technicians when they walked in and tell jokes to the customer. My goal in year one was to know the first name of every single repeat customer that ever came in the service department. Now look at me right here in the camera and think, well, that's stupid. But I did it. And the service writers would look at me, hey, Casey, that guy looks like he's really mad. Do me a favor, go tell him one of your stupid jokes so he'll calm down a little bit before I go talk to him. So I'd go over there and tell a stupid joke, serve a cup of coffee, and the writer would go over there and add another line. I was an asset to the service department. Crazy, I'd be sitting up in the front of the store trying to go through my calls for the day, get everything set up. I'd get listen to this, listen. Service, Casey, come to service, please. Casey, come to service. Somebody just told an ASM that they wanted to get a car for their daughter or their son. I'd go running back there and everything. I'd pull the car. I'd deliver the car to the birthday party. I mean, think about how easy that would be. But the excuse is, man, Casey, I'm already working a lot of hours. Hey, folks, said it a million times. Waiting is not working. Work for that goal. Pick a 5-year frame of time, starting today if you can. And do everything in your power to be standing taller than everybody else in your state, in your district, in your region. Number one in the region. As long as there's somebody that's producing better than you in your region, you're not done. And you know what? I know you. If you became number one in the region and everything, you'll start looking national. Why would you not? If there's a reason to be number one, it's going to work every day to sell the greatest automotive product in the world. So we'll talk about fixed operations. We'll talk about retention of customer. We'll talk about bringing customers back in and what to do. And we'll talk about lease retention. And then think about it. Last thing I'll say in this video today. If a customer trades a 3-year-old car in with 45,000 miles on it, and you look at their credit history, and you go, wow, 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. You got to step back a second and go, hey, I think possibly this customer is going to trade this car in 3 years. And since they live in the same place they've lived for the last 15 years, it's probably going to have about 45,000 miles on it. So I don't know what kind of software you use at the dealership. I don't know what kind of software you have for yourself. But that is another virtually guaranteed car deal if they hear from you in about 2.5 years while they have about 38,000 miles on the car. You can create a dynasty of the future, or You can stand there in the dealership complaining about the way you're being treated from the managers and how many hours you're having to work and how bad a month you just had because all you did was wait for it to happen. Create your future. Listen, this isn't for everybody. I understand that. Don't leave me because you're not going to do any of this. Think about it. If you decide to pass on it, I'll come back and do some product knowledge stuff for you guys. And I'll tell you some stuff out there that you hadn't heard yet about Toyota and what they're planning. But for you guys in there that want to go to the next level and create a little bit of a dynasty on your own time, think about what we've talked about today. This is KC. Get ready. We're talking about by appointment only selling in the next few weeks. PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.